In recent days, the war between Iran and Israel has continued to unfold with extreme intensity. Yet the most dramatic action remains the war of words being fought on the media front. Both sides are crowing at each other at full volume. Notably, the online community spotted several issues when the Israeli Prime Minister posted a video of himself drinking coffee to counter rumors that he had died. He even joked, "Do you want to count my fingers? All 5 are still there, not 6. However, as soon as the clip was posted, netizens spotted a number of suspicious anomalies, leading many to conclude it was likely AI generated rather than a real person. First, the footage had an unusually smooth texture, looking almost surreal. Second, the coffee cup was held loosely but never spilled. Then, the Prime Minister raised the cup to his lips as if drinking, yet the liquid level never went down. On top of that, the Prime Minister's ring had also disappeared. For all these reasons, no one has yet dared to confirm whether the Prime Minister is actually still alive. It is truly unsettling to witness the current pace of AI development, advancing at a dizzying speed and making people look at everything with suspicion, unable to trust what they see, and losing faith in one another. Similarly, on the other side, after rumors spread that the new supreme leader was in a vegetative state in hospital, Iran's foreign minister spoke up. He swore that their leader was fine, in good health, and that the country was in good shape. The only problem is that the online community is still waiting for that proof-of-life video, which has yet to materialize. Not even an AI-generated one like Israel's. So no one actually knows the true condition of Iran's new supreme leader right now. News coming out of Iran is extremely vague and carries very little credibility. Case in point, after Iran was attacked by Israel on the 28th of last month and their supreme leader was killed, Iran still publicly confirmed that their leader was safe. So the latest statements from Iran are again only worth taking as a reference. There is no solid foundation for any of it. Donald Trump was recently asked whether he would sit down at the negotiating table with Iran to help bring about peace and ease the suffering of ordinary people. Trump responded bluntly, "I don't want to do that yet because the current terms are not good enough for America. On top of that, I don't even know who I'm supposed to negotiate with, since I don't know whether Iran's supreme leader is still alive. No one has seen his face since he took office. Most of Iran's leadership is already dead. So who exactly is going to sit across the table from me?" This was a very candid statement, but also a very truthful one, coming from Donald Trump. It's true that in recent days, the whole world has wanted Iran and the United States to sit down together so oil prices can come down and people can get back to their lives. But how do you negotiate when Iran's leader still hasn't made a single appearance in the media? Even more absurd are Iran's statements about Ukraine. Iran claims that because Ukraine supplied drones to Israel, Ukraine has effectively joined the war. Under Article 51 of the UN Charter, Iran would therefore be fully entitled to legally attack Ukraine. The legal logic itself isn't wrong. But what makes many people find the situation ironic is that when Russia was attacking Ukraine, Iran was the most enthusiastic arms supplier to Russia, sending countless missiles and drones for Russia to use against Ukraine. So now that Ukraine is helping other countries fight Iran, that's entirely normal, isn't it? There's no reason to threaten to attack them over it. Iran was indirectly striking Ukraine first, and Ukraine never complained. Yet now, Iran is acting like the victim being oppressed. No matter how much one might dislike the US, it's hard to support this kind of double-standard behavior from Iran. Then again, not to be outdone by Iran, Donald Trump made headlines by calling on allies to join together at the Strait of Hormuz, which caught many people off guard. He was clearly the one who fired the first shot. But now that he can't subdue Iran, he started blaming everyone else. Most remarkably, he even called on China, one of his own rivals, to join in and help police the Strait of Hormuz. Trump's reasoning was that if the strait were closed, NATO and China would be the ones hit hardest, so they should send their forces to help defend it. Most amusingly, Donald Trump even threatened that if China didn't send ships, he would refuse to meet with President Xi Jinping. Seriously though, if he needs to, he'll go meet Xi. If he doesn't, he won't, right? Playing games like that will make everyone lose patience with him. It's basically the equivalent of saying, if you don't listen to me and send ships to guard Hormuz, I will not grant you the privilege of hosting me. As if China desperately needs him or is dying to host him. The simplest solution here is for the US to withdraw its forces. Everyone goes home. That's it. It's not complicated. Why does Donald Trump always insist on making things more difficult than they need to be? You start a war with Iran, fine. But when Iran hits back and threatens the Strait of Hormuz, you expect everyone else to jump in and fight for you? The most entertaining part of all this is that Donald Trump called on 500 brothers to come to the Strait of Hormuz. Yet every single one of America's loyal allies found a reason to say no. This left Trump furious, and he turned his anger on his NATO allies. After calling on NATO countries to send troops to the Strait of Hormuz as a protective force and getting no response, Trump made his displeasure very clear. He effectively said, "So you lot dare defy me, do you? I was just testing you all to see how you'd act when I actually need something. You think I need your help? I can handle the Strait of Hormuz all by myself. When I get back, I'm going to take a hard look at the enormous amount of money America spends on NATO to protect you. Because letting you all freeload like this forever is just not acceptable." Coddling people only produces ingrates. The US foots 70% of NATO's budget, yet when America has a problem, NATO acts like it's none of their business. This statement reveals that America's internal situation is not much better than Iran's right now. On top of that, the US National Counterterrorism Director has also submitted his resignation today, stating that he cannot in good conscience support the war with Iran. In his view, Iran does not pose a threat to the United States. America is doing this purely because of pressure from Israel. The question then becomes, why are NATO countries, long considered America's closest allies, expected to follow America's lead, now refusing so decisively? There are three main reasons. The first reason is that NATO is a collective defense alliance, not a collective offense alliance. If one NATO member gets attacked, then yes, everyone rallies together. But when you go off and start a fight with someone else without consulting your partners, you're on your own. You can't expect the whole group to fall in line just because you started a war. At most, allies will pitch in with sanctions and soft pressure. Serious military involvement is a completely different matter, and it operates according to clearly established rules from the very beginning. The second reason NATO refused to send forces to Hormuz is that they don't believe in a US victory in Iran. If they thought America could win there, you can bet they'd be rushing to get a piece of the action. But when every single one of them is shaking their head, that tells you everything you need to know about how bleak the situation really looks. One might ask, sure, maybe one or two NATO members joining wouldn't be enough to win at Hormuz, but if all three major NATO powers jumped in against Iran, there's no way Iran could hold them off. So why are NATO countries still flatly rejecting America's call? The answer is that they've completely lost faith in the big brother, specifically Donald Trump. That is the third reason. The clearest example, Trump himself declared he would take Greenland by any means necessary, including military force. And yet, Denmark is a fellow NATO member under US leadership. And even their own partner in the alliance, Trump was threatening to absorb. On what basis could they possibly trust the US anymore? So NATO simply ignores America and looks out for itself first. And honestly, who can blame them? What would they gain by sending troops to Hormuz when America is actively threatening to swallow its own allies? All of this shows that Donald Trump appears to be completely at a loss when it comes to the Iran situation. He doesn't know how to handle things now that events aren't going according to plan. He started the fight, couldn't finish it, then went running to his allies to join in. When they refused, he threw a tantrum and threatened to stop protecting them. So the claim by Donald Trump that Europe is taking advantage of US protection is genuinely hard to justify. He insists America is helping Ukraine for Europe's benefit. Yet when peace talks happen, it's only the US and Russia at the table, with Europe shut out. Playing double standards like that is something no one can just accept. Europe has every right to stay out of Hormuz.